Hi guys, welcome back to Clockwork and Noodles, the channel where Becca continues to break down the winter 2021 anime. If you guys aren't already, make sure you guys are subscribed. I've got some fun things coming your way, which are a bit more abstract, so not really related to any kind of anime. Basically, in 2 weeks' time, you guys have a fun video going up to celebrate my birthday, because I can't do anything for it, so I'm sharing it with you guys by giving you a video of things that I really like, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. It's anime related, and I think it's going to be something a little bit fun. So make sure you guys are subscribed. In a few weeks as well, I will be giving you my top 3 anime of winter 2021. What animes are going to be on that list, what has really impacted me this season, and what will I be watching and releasing YouTube videos on in spring 2021. At the moment, I have chosen 2 anime. I need to pick another 2, but I think it's going to be a very interesting season with a huge range of stuff coming out. Make sure you guys are on the Discord channel. You can lurk there and you get a notification whenever a video goes up. I will be at some point using that for polls. And at some point, I will be broadening my horizons and going to Discord to get some opinions. So a place that I plan to use a bit later on down the line. So I hope you guys are doing good. We are indeed back with the Promised Neverland, episode 7. Last week, I told you that the episode kind of gave me a bit of a headache. There was a lot of information going on. This episode does the same, and I felt irritated at one point, but we're going to discuss it, break it down. I'll tell you guys my thoughts, and we'll see where we end up down this ever-growing rabbit hole. So we actually get an open. We open on Mujika and Sonju. They are back. We haven't really seen those guys since episode 3, I think. We know that they're going to be key players in the story, and definitely after this episode. Last week, we heard Norman refer to Mujika as the heretical girl, and he gave us a very adverse reaction. His reaction was so strong, it actually seems odd when he turns around and says, actually, no, I haven't met them. He's never actually met these people, and what he's actually really given us is hearsay. With the reaction we got, with him literally looking angry and furious, I was expecting him to say something like, oh my god, she's eating people, or something really, really bad. Initially, what he says, so he gives us a bit of backstory, that looking good, Mujika, she is apparently 700 years old. To be fair, we don't really know a great deal about the demons to actually say how old is old. So 700 might be quite young in their terms, but she looks good, so go Mujika. She basically appeared after the promise between the humans and the demons were made, where she started to become a bit of a saviour, with the idea that no demon would need to eat human because they basically need a bit of her blood. This is where we go a bit vampiric. Her blood allows the demons to take on her form, the more human form, the more smart form. Also, there is an OP. In the OP, we actually see Mujika holding some blood. Initially, I thought the way it was showing us was more the fact that she had blood in her hands. At one point, I didn't even think it was her. This is definitely Mujika holding her blood. This is what this is essentially leaning into. That Mujika's blood is essentially holy. It's easier to understand it's a bit like vampires, where one bites another, then that person bites another, and it just passes along the blood. In the end, it ended up being demons eating demons. Any demon with Mujika's blood in them, they were basically captured and eaten by the nobles. So the nobles are the issue. So after listening to that story, I just see the issue that the nobles at the top are the ones who kind of need a shake-up, not really the bottom ones. Does this story really justify that reaction we got from Norman last week? Because that reaction was fierce. Nothing in that story so far has really shown Mujika to be a bad person. Surely at the end of hearing this as well, Norman should be attacking the nobles. To Norman, Mujika is just an inconvenience. Her blood is the antidote to his drug. But he still wants to kill them. So at the end of the day, Norman wants to kill Mujika and Sonju. And this is where it kind of gets a bit hit and miss with me. The anime really wants to pit Emma against Norman. I've been feeling that in the vibe. And this week we hammer home that divide. To me, Emma is really naive, and I feel bad. I don't really want people to kind of slam into me. Just listen, guys. Emma is really, really naive in the fact that she thinks that every single demon is going to listen to her when she comes out and goes, hey, don't kill us. Or she goes, hey, drink this person's blood. She's a little bit naive in the sense that I know she doesn't want to kill people. And to be fair, Norman's plan is extreme. Norman is an extreme, but Emma is also another extreme where she doesn't want to kill either. There is a middle ground here. There is definitely a middle ground, but we're not at the middle ground. To me, the problem seems to be those nobles, those in control, those people at the top, the fact that that promise was made in the first place. I think Mujika, if she used her blood correctly and everybody didn't need to eat anymore, That would be a great idea. That would be fantastic. However, the nobles at the top aren't going to allow it. The people in power aren't going to allow it. At the end of the day, some killing may occur. Going to be like no options at times. There might be a case where if you go up against, say, the nobles in charge and they don't like it, they're going to lash out. And the only way to really deal with them, because they're never going to agree with you, might be an extreme. Norman also notices the naivety in Emma's plans, and he also too points this out. But we get some information now where Norman really is a brain bot. He knows a lot of information. I'd love to know where the hell he's picked up half this information, and this in particular. Norman tells us that the coordinates to the human world that we have on the pen are useless. The gates where these coordinates lead to are down. The device is broken. There's no way of using that anymore. But Norman is also still the king of bombshells, where he actually tells us that Gracefield House still has a remaining gate. So when he basically told us that there was no way to go to the human world, he was kind of lying in the sense that there is a way to go to the human world. It's just inconveniently placed and it's underneath the Gracefield House, even though we didn't really see or have any information given during season 1. So it wasn't even mentioned during season 1, but it is apparently underground. So as much as Norman wanted to be the king of dramatic and tell us that there's no way of getting to the human world, there technically is still a gate. He does also recite my fear from an earlier episode where I even said, what if the humans don't accept them? And this is it. Apparently Minerva is dead. I know I said that I thought Minerva was dead quite a bit. Yes, I am 100% correct. I just really got that bad feeling that he was dead or a demon, and it turns out that he's definitely dead. But he died at the hands of humans. There's going to be bad humans, there's going to be good humans at the end of the day, which is where both of them need to see it. So Emma needs to understand that there are bad humans, whilst Norman needs to understand that there are good demons. Minerva died to the hands of the humans, which doesn't really bode well for us trying to go to the human world. So at some point, we're also going to be facing off against bad humans. We kind of hit the word gatekeeper. Don't explain the word gatekeeper, but it feels like it's going to be important at some point. So if we do go down Emma's route and we do end up facing off against the gatekeeper, who is the gatekeeper? What is the gatekeeper? That's interesting. That's leaving a little thread open for us to kind of think about. But the anime is really trying to set up the Emma versus Norman divide. There is definitely this divide going on. She doesn't want to kill any of her friends, so she sees Sonju and Mujika as a friend, even though we as the audience know that Sonju is technically bad. Sonju would happily hunt humans for the sport of it. He doesn't even need to eat them, but he will hunt them because he can. That there isn't a demon who needs to eat to survive. That is a demon who wants to kill for pleasure. Gonna be interesting to see how Emma reacts to that one. But she does at the same time want to save her family, which is also what Norman is trying to do. So they both want to save their families. They both want to have a future. But Emma doesn't have a plan right now. So the problem with Emma, and neither of them are right. Basically, there is a middle ground. And I think if they actually stopped to think about it, they would find a middle ground. Emma, at the same time, doesn't have a plan. And the conversation essentially is over. Norman really kind of gives her a bit of an ultimatum, which doesn't really feel like he's even going to stick to his ultimatum anyway. He gives her 5 days to find Sonju and Mujika and bring him back to him, or he's just going to go ahead with his plan. However, I just kind of got the vibes that Norman would still do what he wants anyway. He also wants to kill them. So at this point, why would you bring Sonju and Mujika to their deaths? Because he's not really gonna even listen. So he doesn't really seem to be in the place where he's gonna listen. So bringing them there is not really, it's just buying you time, but it's not really gonna help, because we then cut to Barbara actually showing us why Norman is as extreme as he is. Yes, Barbara is being shown in a very bad light. She's being shown as violent, angry. She can't understand how somebody is friends with essentially the enemy. But at the same time, we do have to bear in mind that she, as a small young child, was obviously shipped out of her house to be experimented on every single day by demons. I don't know if the humans are involved in that plant as well. They might be. But her experience, everybody's experience, has left them all on a brink of needing medication. And even at the end, it seems to be the fact that every single one of them has time running out. You can see why Norman has jumped to such an extreme. The scene kind of cuts before we hear what Norman says, as he answers whether he's still on their side or his siblings' side, but Norman is completely unchanged. He is going to go ahead and kill Mujika and Sonju regardless, and he's going to go ahead with his own plan. The anime is setting up Norman versus Emma, and I don't quite know how I feel, because I'm kind of sat in the middle where I don't agree with any of them. I know this feels bad. I'm more in line to agree with Norman. So we then cut to Emma discussing with her siblings essentially how she feels and what's going to happen now. Emma doesn't essentially want to sink to the same level as the demons, which is fair because fear only breeds more fear. So if we continue to kill people and breed fear, the cycle is going to continue. It's just going to end up spiraling down, nothing's going to change, and you're just essentially going to create a war. But we do see as well that the siblings aren't in a great place either. The kids are hungry. We need food as well. But that is essentially the argument that Emma uses to kind of sway them. The fact that she doesn't want to see them eating family. She wants a future where she has no regrets. In the long run, we have sibling support. We see at first Gilda wasn't 100%, but in the end she will support Emma. But Emma says that she wants to protect Norman. I don't think Emma fully understands what Norman is going through. To find Sonju and Mujika, the kids remember that Sonju likes the birds that migrate. He says they're tasty. So we're going to follow the birds, hopefully find our unfortunate pair, who are probably either going to end up dead or in the middle of a fight now. We end on a sunset. The sunset basically shows us the end of a chapter. It's a turning of a new page, a new plan, a new resolve. Something is coming to an end. And that thing coming to an end, I think, is going to be the fact that Norman and Emma are not going to be working on the same team for any time in the foreseeable future. We now end on perhaps the most disturbing part, is poor Norman coughing up blood. We've already seen with Barbara and the rest of his crew that their time is running out. They're on a lot of medication. It's a possibility that Norman might even die before his plan is enacted, or once he actually gets a result, he might perish. So he's not going to live very long. We are treated to a nice reminder of the original soundtrack from season 1. Absolutely love the soundtrack for Promised Neverland. It's okay, the soundtrack for season 2 is good, but I just remember the soundtrack being so much cooler for season 1, and I liked it a lot better. As we review the moment Norman left our lives, replay that entire scenario, so we've seen it before, him being told to go wait in the side room, but that's initially where we cut in season 1. We've cut with him following Isabel into another room. This time, we're giving like 5 extra seconds, but those 5 extra seconds create suspicion as we are introduced to a man's voice simply saying hello Norman, which is clearly the man in charge of the facility for experimentation. So another episode with a lot of information going on. We are setting up a divide. We have Norman versus Emma. It's quite sad that it seems to be going this way, that there's no real middle ground. Emma doesn't quite seem to grasp what the others have been through. Me personally, I'm finding it hard to kind of side with either of the groups. I don't really feel like I want either of them to be on either of them sides. If I'm split right in the middle right now, I'm not unsure what I want to happen. But if I had to pick a side, if you actually had to pay me to pick a side, I'm probably leaning more on Norman's side. More for the fact that Emma doesn't have a plan yet. She could simply be wasting time. More of her family could die. More children are dying by day if she doesn't do anything. So I need to watch more, and perhaps I will eventually line up with Emma, and hopefully I support her, and hopefully as we go through it I'll see her plan come into an action and my mind might be changed. But at this moment in time, I don't really align with Emma's decision, and if anything, she kind of irritated me a little bit this episode, and I feel bad for saying it. So that's roughly how I feel after episode 7. Definitely the most controversial anime of this season. But we're continuing breaking it down, taking it bit by bit, and just generally seeing where we end up at the end of the season. Whether we get another season or not, I don't think it looks promising, let's just say that. So I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you at least got some entertainment of me rambling on. Make sure you guys are staying safe. I will see you again in next week for another video. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.